Pro to Archon.
Please feel free to begin, whichever one of you.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the Senate Healthcare Committee. My name is Gretchen Stockman, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist with in private practice. I have offices in Lakewood and Puyallup. I am also the parent of a son who now identifies as a woman. He's an adult now. He's 24 years old, so this issue is very personal to me. I currently specialize in addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, and marriage counseling. But a few years ago, as I was dealing with my own son, I decided to open my practice to people who are struggling with same-sex attraction and gender dysphoria. I was finding in my own search for help that I couldn't find the health care that was compatible with my convictions and beliefs and values, and I knew there were others out there that were having the same problem. There are a lot of parents who are grief-stricken over not so much their child's struggle with their identity, but with all of the accompanying issues, the depression, the self-harm, the withdrawal from relationships, and suicidality. And they're looking for avenues to find support and help. And what I am very concerned about with this bill is that it would shut down any options other than affirming therapy. And I attended affirming therapy with my own son, and on the very first session it was, let's get on board with surgery. And that frightened me. My son was just exploring what he wanted to do with his life and what avenues he wanted to go with this thing, and he was already being steered in a very strong way. In my work with youth, there are occasions when parents come in and they basically tell me, fix my child. And I think I speak for a lot of therapists that we are quick to tell them that we are not here to fix your child. We are here to provide a safe environment for them to explore and to set their own goals, and to maybe talk about what your story has been, what has come before this that maybe is causing this confusion. And you know, we're required by law to give a disclosure statement that explains in detail to potential clients what our approach is, our theoretical perspective, and the kind of counseling that we provide. And so when a client comes in, they've already decided that we're probably a good fit, and usually within the first session we know if we want to continue work together. I would never, and I don't know any therapist that would ever force a particular kind of therapy on anyone. We are here to support people in wholeness and self-determination, and sometimes that's a process. And I just think it would be, like somebody else already testified, that it would be damaging and potentially harmful to remove that. What's going to end up happening, and I think this is I know for a fact because I've talked to other counselors in California, this is already happening, is going to drive the help that is not necessary, it might be neutral or not necessarily affirming therapies underground. Parents and children who are, like we've seen here today, not just 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, but 16, 17, 18-year-olds who are setting up their own appointments, seeking their own care, and have told their parents that they want help and that they want a particular kind of help. They're not going to be able to get it from an educated professional. They're going to have to go to someone else or muddle through on their own, and it's a super scary, frightening thing to have to do. So I'm asking that this bill be rejected so that we can have coexisting therapy side by side so that people can make a choice.
Thank you.
Chair, members of the committee who remain, my name is Joseph Backholm with the Family Policy Institute of Washington. I think the good thing about this bill is there's actually a great deal of common ground to the extent that everybody wants to get rid of child abuse. And we're all learning about a subject matter that wasn't public conversation for a long time, and so we're all growing in our ability to do that. But in the real world, the way this bill is applied has some challenges, and I think one of the things that was just pointed out is in the at least three, maybe 4 years of legislative debate about this, we have never seen a therapist identified who has done any of the things that has been referenced. In fact, when we have asked the Department of Health in the tens of thousands of complaints that they get, because they already have supervisory authority over therapists, they have never received a single complaint alleging abuse in the area of trying to make someone not be gay or whatever. And when you go back even further with institutional knowledge within the Department of Health, no one can remember a single complaint ever. And so that, I think, colors this conversation that this really is a solution chasing a problem. And that's good news because everybody agrees the things that the anecdotes that we've heard, everyone would be horrified. And the good news is coercion in therapy in any context is already professional misconduct. So if those things are happening, there is currently on the books a way to deal with therapists who might be doing that. But in reality, the way this works, therapy is not a menu. You don't go to a therapist and pick something on the menu. They don't have a menu where they can take items on and take them off. And so the effect of this in practice is that because we are all different, the things that bother you in your life might not bother me, and the things that bother me in my life might not bother you. So in practice, the only effect that this has is it tells 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds that if your therapy takes you in a particular direction, the only thing the therapist can do is say, sorry, the legislature won't let me help you achieve that outcome that you want to achieve. And I don't think that's an appropriate thing to do from the legislature. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bill Wells. I'm a minister and pastor of the Beginning Christian Church. A couple of things on this bill, and I really appreciate what everybody else has already added to, so I'll just be brief. But it does leave healthcare workers, professionals really in all walks of life to be questioned when, or left vulnerable for somebody who wants to come back and say, well, they practiced this on me, and without really a lot of the proof. Somebody could especially a youth who might have a grudge could come back and say, well, this is what they tried to get across, and there'd just be just a lot of gray areas and that. I basically oppose the bill because of religious people in all walks of life, they go about trying to do the best they can to follow the laws of the land and yet still hold on to their religious beliefs, which are constitutionally protected, and they want to hold on to their freedom of speech. And of course, as a pastor, we never know who's going to come to us when in times that they need help or counseling. I realize, as I read through the bill, that doesn't really definitely address pastors, but this bill tends to continue to take us down the slippery slope of restricting freedom, restricting religion, and for those reasons, I oppose it. And I would hope that you would look serious at ways to make sure that everyone is protected in their workplace, including medical workers. Thank you so much.
Pastor Wells, thank you, and thank you to each of you for being here today. And this concludes the hearing on Senate Bill 5722.
I'm an expert witness who came from California, and you forgot to put my name on. They didn't call my name.
Did you sign up to testify? Is it?
How was someone supposed to sign up?
You need to sign up to testify. And do you? Let's talk after the hearing, and we'll certainly see what we can submit so that members have access to your presentation today. All right. And this does conclude the hearing on Senate Bill 5722, and it concludes today's Senate Health and Long-Term Care Committee meeting. Meeting adjourned.